Hi everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be starting a series on a deck brought to us by Kish Kasan. And actually in the description below I will post a link to his article talking about the deck, the cards, and the card choices. In future videos I will go over some of the changes that I think I would make and have tested, and then we'll go over through different variations of that deck. But for now we're going to stick with his deck list, and again I'm just going to leave the description to him, and his article will be posted in the link below. Also in the link below will be a link to my Twitch channel. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so come check that out if you're enjoying my content. And without further ado, we're just going to get into some games, because that's what we're really here for, right? So let's hop on the ladder. Let's go beat some championship scrubs with championship scrubs. Petamax. This guy was really well known in Elder Scrolls Legends, so great to get to play against him. Fantastic deck designer. And he's kicking it off with Maelstrom. Alright. Burning a Maelstrom. Alright, so we get the free discard Born Again package. So that's already set up. So I don't feel too bad about burning this lamp for an eager recruit. Whenever we need to deploy Shroud of the Pit, we can just burn the Born Again, and by that time we'll have accrued enough card advantage that it's not going to really matter. I'm not worried about having Slayer on their turn because my creature only has 1 toughness. Starting things off nice and slow. That's good for us. We don't have a really good 2-drop to follow up, so we're just going to flip the disc and draw a card. Probably plan on playing Barkeep next turn. We might end up having to Racer, but that's okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn the Perfect Grade. It's just a little too early, and seeing red and blue, I don't know if the game will even last that long. I'm probably in the market for a Sword Saint in this matchup. We already have 1 Born Again, so I don't see us needing another. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or just constructive criticisms, please post them in the comments below. I really love to hear from my audience. Let me know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong.
All right, ahead.
I'm always trying to improve. So let's see here. Obviously, that's going face. And then I think I want to play Barkeep. Question is, what do I want to burn? With him playing little minions, I kind of want to hold on to Jin Sook. So I'm looking at burning Steam Bun or Nine-Tailed Vixen, but Nine-Tailed Vixen could be a good follow-up for next turn. Kish Kasan, if you're watching, you can tell me how bad I've played this deck. So I think we'll go ahead and ditch the Steam Bun for now, and then I'm gonna play Barkeep here in case they play a rush minion. I'm trying to make them trade out less favorably, and if they move over and hit me for 3, that's fine. This occupying this enchantment is fine for me, since I always have Racer and Shadows, and I have Jin Sook coming up. So, man, the patch was so kind to purple. This getting a buff is huge. A 3/4 for 3 is a lot better than a 2/4, and the Ramen in this deck is so valuable. So, happy to have that. I suspect a Wings of Abaddon with that play. Yep. We have the Racer and Shadows, so we're not too worried about that one. Their deck seems to be full of little creatures, so I'm going to go ahead and burn this Dark Passenger since I don't think we'll need the extra ability to trade up.
Leave it all on the track.
So we'll take our trade. And now the question here is, I didn't think about playing Sword Saint before I chose to burn, so we're just going to go ahead and draw a card with Disc. So we'll discard this Born Again, and then we'll shoot him again. And we're at a pretty healthy life total, so I don't see us needing Defy Death. So let's go ahead and take the parry and pass the turn. Sitting in a pretty comfortable position. Blue-Red Rush can pull some games out of nowhere, so not too comfortable. Giant Stairway can be a real thorn in the side, but Speedway is rough, but we have Jin Sook to take care of that. And just to play it safe, I'm going to hold on to the log.
Your strength.
I mean, at this point, I don't see a reason not to. We're far enough ahead that there's no reason to let something slip up. Cataclysm could be coming here. Who plays Cataclysm? Like, am I right? But if it does, it does. Like, it's only a 2-for-1, and we're at a higher health total, so this lets us go ahead and deploy a parry, uncontested,
Fortune favors us.
and we hit another Sword Saint. I'll take the Barkeep because it's a bigger body, and we just want to keep activating our disc at this point. And then I'll play a Sword Saint over here. I assume they're going to have a rush minion, but this should trade with most of it. Yep. And that's enough to get the GG. So good game, Petamax. I know you had a kind of a slow start, but and that's an example of what this deck can do. Like, it has a lower curve, so you don't have to worry too much about like not having a slow start. And if your opponent has a slow start, you just snowball your advantage and just keep on going from there. All right, let's get another one. If you're still watching and you enjoy the content, please hit that like and or subscribe button. And be on the lookout for future videos. Like I said, this is just the first of a series. In the next video, we'll go over some of the changes I made when I first found the deck list. And then in another video, we'll go over version 2.5 or something that has Boneyard Abomination and Dire Benediction, because why not? So be on the lookout for that. If I knew more about editing, you won't have to see this wait time. If I still haven't figured out how to do that, you'll be seeing this wait time. Nawalo. All right, and again we start with Born Again. That's pretty great for me. pretty happy to see that. Unfortunately, we don't have a 1-drop, and I mean we don't even have a 2-drop, so yikes. I mean, luckily our path is our 2-drop, but not being able to contest this Cobalt anytime soon is kind of worrying. But go ahead and get rid of Peach. Peach is more for the late game. Whew! That is a lot of creatures to be playing. So with this development, I think I'm gonna go ahead and play out Born Again and contest. So let's do that. This could end up being a mistake, but I don't want to fall too far behind. God, they saw all 3 Kobolds. That's crazy. Yeah, To Heaven and Back is not making an appearance anytime soon, though it sucks to see it go. I'm going to contest this because of Slayer. So obviously I want Slayer, so I don't want to activate this. Also, the Born Again is in the graveyard, so them playing that actually helped us out because I really wanted to activate Disc. I'm happy to see that trade. Very happy to see that trade. A little less happy to see a parry, but not much we can do about that. Oh, I was drawing with the path. I don't know why I was worried about discarding Born Again. So let's go ahead and draw first, see what we get. Perfect Grade is too early, but it is purple. I think I'll take the Eager Recruit and plan on curving this turn out. I am worried about a Heaven and Back on the parry, but I don't know exactly how much I can afford to play around that. So I'm going to play this here and this here because I want parry to trade with it, not the Cobalt. And then we'll pass turn. And we're not going to activate the Ramen on their turn just to keep our creatures healthy. It's really good that they didn't have a To Heaven and Back there, so feeling a little bit better about our position. The life totals are even, the board is relatively even, depending on what they play here. Another parry, okay. So I'm probably going to develop Jinsuk in this corner so that it's protected by Barkeep. And at this point, I think it's probably best that I hold on to both Spiritaways, because with green, they're probably going to be playing Iku, Court Stag, and the like, now that they've hit that mana threshold. So I'm gonna burn Barkeep so that I can deploy Jinsuk. I mean, at this point they could deploy an Armageddon Angel and not feel too bad about it, because getting Jinsuk off the table is worthwhile. And I'm going to go ahead and discard Born Again. Not too worried about rush minions out of orange-green. Love it when my opponent makes me look like a smart person. Man, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. He called that Iku perfectly. Unfortunately, we don't have another orange card, or I'd hold on to this Parry of the Gates. So to get our second orange, we'll go ahead and burn it. At this point, I'll go ahead and deploy the recruit and pass the turn. Lead Astray is not too surprising. Ooh, to heaven and back. That was a really good draw. And orange-green doesn't have really good life gain. So I think I'm going to play Barkeep over here. And I'll go ahead and activate the path, or yeah, the power, which is kind of the path. And I think in this position I'm going to take Racer of Shadows, just because I see them trying to contest over here, and this allows us to get Racer on Heaven, make a trade, get it back. I'm questioning whether or not to burn Born Again, just so that we can make sure we have enough mana to do everything we need next turn. Since I have the other one, I'll go ahead and do it. I could see that as a mistake, but nice, nice. So the Spirit of the Way is basically lethal. Especially since we drew the purple card. So we Spirit Away. Racer.
Leave it all on the track.
Oh, snaps. Forgot that I needed another purple gem. It's alright. It's alright. And then I think we'll go ahead and play... This Racer is still essentially lethal, so as long as they don't gain life, we're in a good spot. And that looks like it's the game.
Fortune favors us.
They're killing themselves with their own serendipity. That's great. Alright. No BM for me. I'm not that kind of player. So, good game, Noel. And I believe we have time for one more. Yeah, that Heaven and Back was a really good top deck. As you see, I ended up using all my mana my last second to last turn. So realizing that I wasn't going to need the second Born Again and that I would probably need the extra mana more was pretty crucial. If my gem count had been a little bit better, we could have found lethal that turn, but it is what it is. And that's the thing about playing 3-color decks. Even when the third color is a splash, like finding enough cards to burn of the right color can sometimes be difficult. So there is consequences for our greed, but it feels so good. And let's see, I am super close to finishing my mission of 5,000 orange cards, so pretty excited about that. Only one I've finished so far is the 5,000 yellow and 10,000 minions slayed, so getting there. We're pretty close on a lot of these, and just gotta close the gap before this next patch so we can have a nice little stock of essence and coin set up for the new cards. So I haven't played much of his list. His list has performed very well for me. The one loss I had, I do remember, it was on stream, and I was not at my best playing correctly wise, and I made a couple missteps that ended up costing me the game. So I feel like that loss is on me and not the deck, because the deck definitely provided the cards. I just mishandled them. So I will say that this deck has been pretty solid in the number of games that I've played with it. And again, in the next video, we're going to go over the changes I made just from looking at the list and personal card choices. One of those being, I'm not a big fan of Serendipity Ifrit. As you saw, like, it did something around 6 or so damage to my opponent in the last game, and that makes a huge difference against decks like this that are just trying to get in that little chip damage. So but that's just my personal play style. It is a pretty good sized body, and Divination 3 on a 4/4 for 3 is pretty good stats. So Kish Kassan does run quite a bit of life gain in his list. I believe it's 3 Sword Saints and 2 Peach. Yep. So definitely makes up for the incidental damage that happens to himself, and allows himself to play from behind so that his power is better by playing a lot of life gain so that he can recuperate that life loss, and also by playing Defy Death. So it's a cool little thing to stock up some ramens, Defy Death, and then just shoot your opponent down with your power. And 1515042. How is it going? So Fires of Creation is definitely going to be a tough matchup, depending on what kind of Fires of Creation it is. I'm sitting here thinking about which orange card I want to burn. From the looks of it, it's probably going to be Parry of the Gates, though I'm a really card draw fanatic, so I really hesitate to burn Parry at the Gates, and I'm trying to think through any other option. But with the clock running out, we're just going to go ahead and burn Parry, plan on next turn burning a card and then discarding our recruit, and then following up with a Serendipity Ifrit. Oh boy. Alpha Strike, that's not allowed. Spirit of the Way is probably here a little too soon. I could see some arguments being made to keep it, but I feel like our burn is either Mutton Morphosis or Spirit of the Way, and having seen a First Strike Viper, I think I'm going to hold on to the Mutton Morphosis for now. So We'll burn that. We'll discard this token. Get a little shot in. And so small sequencing that I didn't go over just now that I probably should mention. If your opponent is at a higher life total than you, activate your power before attacking. That way you deal more damage with your power. This deck can win or lose off 1 or 2 life on either side, and so that little bit of life can matter. Man, they have all the first strike minions. Alpha strike, sorry. Magic terminology still floods my brain. So, Helm of Conscription would allow it to trade with a Serendipity Ifrit. So I'm going to play this in front of the maze so that they can't play Meso Libre here. And then Barkeep was an easy keep. We want to develop our board and activate our power, and he magically does both. Stretcher. Whoo! Whoo, boy! Ugh. And we already have a stretcher on the table. It's like we're doing their job for them. So at this point, I think I'm going to burn Metamorphosis. Plan on next turn playing Jinsuk. So we're going to draw. I'm going to take the card I can burn here. If memory serves, they don't play very many big threats, and hopefully I can just draw into a removal spell at a later point. And then we'll go ahead and develop the Eager Recruit as well. Hopefully they'll take this trade here. That way we can get in with our 4 damage. We need to get this off the table. As great as it is to draw cards, we need to get Dragon's Teeth off the table pretty quickly. Because the more artifacts they play, the worse things get for us. That's a good sight. This means this Jinsuk is going to be really good. Excellent. And we have 2 Dark Passengers, so I don't feel bad about burning one. We'll go ahead and develop the Dollmaster. Take out this. And we're going to take this trade so that the artifact only heals for 1 before attacking for 4. That way the artifact takes the most amount of damage. It's interesting to see an orange splash for Heaven. So we know they're expecting to play 2 orange cards. And then finding a stretcher is really scary. And an alchemical alchemical key to protect it is also really bad for us. So we're going to go ahead and activate our power. Discard our token. Take some damage. Go ahead and burn the Wake the Bones. And we'll deploy Man, I'm really afraid of a Misanthropia here. But so when playing around sweepers, you have to ask yourself, can I win if they have it by playing around it? And if the answer is no, you need to play into it. And I believe I am in a position where I cannot win if I play around it. Now that could be a wrong assessment of my current situation, but that was the assessment that I had, and they had it. So we'll see if I can still manage to come back from this.
Looking good. Reporting.
And I'm not going to burn any cards here. I want to keep Racer. Having seen Tangle Skin, the Dark Passenger could come in handy, and Peach of Life could end up being pretty relevant considering 3 creatures are about to go to the graveyard next turn.
A world of poisons.
Rewarded for keeping the Dark Passenger. In hindsight, maybe punished for keeping the Dark Passenger. Let's see here.
Leave it all on the track.
Did I have lethal? 1 from the power. 2, 3. I had lethal. Well, it's alright. It is all right.
Stand down.
Whew, that That was closer than we wanted it to be.
Leave it all on the track.
Missed lethal, found it the next turn, so everything ended up working out in the end. That was a close game. Good game. Bunch of numbers. Anyways, that's the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, if you haven't liked or subscribed, remember to do so. Also, I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so come check me out there, and we'll see you next time.